How does family affect addiction? This is a super complicated question because there's so many different permutations, different scenarios that can happen here. So let's just start with the first one. Addiction tends to run in families. There is a genetic component here. So if one of the parents have a history of drug dependence or alcohol issues, their children are more predisposed to having the same problems later on in their life. A unique situation occurs with a child who is a drug user or alcohol dependent, and this is a person who tends to abuse their family. Depending on how deep into the addiction they are, generally what happens is the user can take advantage of their family and play on their family's love and concerns for them, and they are actually enabling their child. This is a very tough one, but giving money to your child who might say, "Oh, I just need this for rent," or come up with a whole slew of lies. They will go to it. Unfortunately, someone who's in the depths of addiction is desperate because they don't want to feel sick. They want to hide it, and they will go to great lengths to cover it up and to lie. And that's not their fault. This is a part of having compassion and non-judgment for addiction. But the family ends up becoming enablers, and enablers meaning that they are giving money, they're giving resources, they're giving free rent, they're giving a free ride to their addicted loved one, and that does not help things. So we try to encourage the family to not be enablers. This means the opposite is tough love, to say you're on your own, and when you want to get help, we're here for you. That's easier said than done, but there needs to be some firm boundaries. So the family can help precipitate and worsen an addiction in the active one. Learning how to deal with this, I would say to seek advice of professionals who are involved in drug treatment counseling services. On the other side of the coin, the drug user can really impair their family. Is a huge drain on the family. They obviously love and support the person, but they tend to burn their bridges with each relapse, and it is a very difficult situation. It weighs heavily on the parents. They are desperate because they want to help, but they cannot control their adult child, whether or not they're going to use. And so it ends up being a recurrent theme, same story over and over again of wanting to get help, getting improved, getting help, and sobriety followed by a relapse and then subsequent worsening use. This is a very, very difficult situation. I know personally I put my family through hell. My mother was worried sick about me. I had lost a lot of weight, and she wanted me to seek treatment, but I wouldn't. I was reluctant, and this is the typical story. I didn't want to get help for myself. I just wasn't ready. It was only until I reached my rock bottom of where my work environment had found out about it, and I had gotten arrested, that finally I wanted help for myself. So it's very hard on family because they want to do something, but their hands are tied because the user is so reluctant. They're so deeply involved in the manipulation, the lying, the deception, that they don't want help. And so how do you get help? You can't force it. Sometimes an intervention can help, particularly with younger people and people who have not been through the rehab process. But people who are older and have been through this process, they're a lot more reluctant to an intervention. It's less likely it's going to help. Unfortunately, some people need to hit some sort of bottom to get help for themselves. But there's still hope, though, for people who have not hit rock bottom, and sometimes just opening up lines of discussion. It's amazing how far things can go because we're so worried about what people think, and we're hiding information. So opening up communication can really help somebody, the struggling addict, to maybe seek help and finally stop the perpetual abuse of self and others. So to summarize about how families are involved with addiction, it weighs very, very heavily on the family. It's a super complicated situation depending on who's the addict, who's the user, is it a parent, is it a child, but it's safe to say that it is very hard on families, very hard on people, and the best way to avoid this hardship is to gain some knowledge, to ask others who have gone through it, other families, to go online, to get help from medical professionals, to seek opinions, from rehabs, and to maybe encourage the drug user to finally get help for themselves.